Hello and welcome to your APL Index Transfer Daily Show on the 16th of July. The Euros are now firmly behind us. The transfer window is in full swing. No real confirmed deals in the past 24 hours, but we've got plenty of rumours from the big clubs, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, and also the likes of Newcastle, Southampton getting busy in the window, and also some managerial movement potentially that could interest a lot of you guys watching, regardless of what club you support. There's a little hint there and what that could be about. But before we get into it, for those of you who don't know, my name's Ben Pescod. I'm an EPL Index contributor. You can find my podcasts and articles over at eplindex.com. I obviously do this EPL Index Transfer Daily Show every day, so keep an eye out for that in the future. But without further ado, let's delve straight into it. Man United are the first story. They've really been catching the headlines in the past week. You know, Matthias de Ligt, Joshua Zirkzee. Obviously, Zirkzee was confirmed yesterday. We spoke about that. Manuel Ugarte is another one. There's a new name on the list today. Florian Plettenberg, the German journalist, has reported that Man United have inquired about Bayer Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah. Obviously, he was expected to go to Bayern Munich at the end of the season, but Bayern Munich failed to reach an agreement with Leverkusen on that one. And apparently Man United are potentially looking into that deal. Could be quite a cheap one, but obviously Tah had a brilliant season at Bayer Leverkusen last year under Xabi Alonso. They had a really impressive season winning the league. But we'll see where this one goes. Plettenberg does insist and is strongly reminding people that there is no agreement between Man United and Bayern Munich yet. We're still waiting for an improved offer from Man United on that one. Bayern Munich reportedly holding out for around £37 million, so that'll be interesting to see whether Man United do come back with an offer or whether they are moving on to potentially a cheaper target, which Jonathan Tah would be. But that's all the real updates on Man United. Obviously, Zirkzee confirmed yesterday. Manuel Ugarte, nothing really advanced in that. As I said, de Ligt still waiting for that other offer. Branthwaite still waiting for another offer. And then the likes of Calvert-Lewin and Ivan Toney is still in early stages. That is just purely links at the moment. Moving on to their rivals in another huge club in the Premier League, Liverpool. Been really quiet so far as transfer window. A couple of links here and there. Trying to stretch to find someone to be linked with Liverpool. But the news in the past 24 hours is quite interesting. They are interested in RB Leipzig defender Mohamed Semakan. Probably butchered that name, but I do apologise. 24-year-old right back. And the strange thing or interesting thing in this, as I say, is the fact that they are reportedly targeting a right back. You know, they have Trent Alexander-Arnold and Conor Bradley. Already they're two brilliant players. You could start either of those and there would be top-end Premier League right-backs. But the reports are that Liverpool have Semakan on their radar. Atletico Madrid are also interested. It's important to note. But really early stages, nothing concrete in this. But the reports do seem to be coming from Germany, so make of that what you will. Could be one to keep an eye on. He can play a central defender as well, but he is naturally a right-back. So it'll be interesting to see where that one goes. But again, early days, and you'd expect Liverpool to get involved in this transfer window over the next days and weeks after the Euros are finished. That's what the expectation is. Going into the end of July and August, you can expect Liverpool to start making at least a couple of deals, but we'll see how that one goes. Moving on to Man City, another team that's been really quiet in the transfer window so far. The reports from Football Insider, again, make of that what you will, that they are in advanced talks to sign Dani Olmo. Obviously, the star of Euro 2024, really, as Spain lifted the trophy. Share the top goal scorer award. But Fabrizio Romano insists that Bayern Munich are also heavily interested in Olmo. Obviously, the 26-year-old currently playing for RB Leipzig has been on the radar of top clubs for a couple of years now, but his Euro performances have seemingly propelled him further onto those radars, and these clubs are looking, well, they're reportedly willing to spend around 50-60 million on the player, so we'll see where that one goes. I can see him doing quite well in the Premier League. He fits sort of the pace and he's got the physicality as well, but has a lot of injury problems that he would need to get over as well. That is important to note. But yeah, there's no doubt he's a quality player. We've seen it over the past few weeks and over the past few years. We've seen glimpses of it. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Dominic Szoboszlai, similar sort of style of player, and I think that's why Liverpool are not weighing up making a move for Olmo. You know, he was linked with Liverpool, but Liverpool are reportedly not interested in making any sort of deal for Olmo, and I think that is why. I don't think they need a player like Olmo, whereas Man City, if they like Kevin De Bruyne, etc. Julian Alvarez linked with leaving. Obviously, we reported yesterday that they were trying to extend Julian Alvarez's contract. Potentially, there is room for Donny Olmo to slot into their attacking midfield lineup, which Pep Guardiola seems to utilise really well. And moving on to Arsenal, there's a bit of incomings and outgoings potentially at Arsenal. The report today is that Arsenal have rejected an offer from Fulham for Emile Smith-Rowe. Obviously, the academy graduate, real big fan favourite at Arsenal, but he is expected to leave this summer for, with PSR and financial fair play and just the overall need to raise funds. Smith-Rowe does seem like an obvious figure that points towards in terms of selling players at Arsenal, unfortunately. And he's had a lot of injury problems over recent seasons that perhaps slowed his progress. He was tipped to be, alongside the likes of Bukayo Saka, he was tipped to be the next big thing. But, Martin Odegaard came into the club and kind of played that role that Smith-Rowe was looking to make his own, and it just hasn't really worked out for him. The reports that Fulham, that bid was rejected, but they are reportedly weighing up making another bid and are expected to make another bid for Smith-Rowe. So we'll see what that bid is and whether that's closer to the sort of fee that Arsenal are holding out for. Reportedly, Arsenal are holding out for around 35 million for Smith-Rowe, which, to be fair, do I think Smith-Rowe is worth 35 million? I'm not so sure. I wouldn't want my team to be spending that money on him. But when you look at the likes of Elliot Anderson, I know under different circumstances with the whole PSR, I think Elliot Anderson went for the same fee. So in that respect, Emile Smith-Rowe is worth every single penny, and that could end up being a bargain. So definitely want to keep an eye on. Really talented player, and I hope he stays in the Premier League. I want to see more of him in the Premier League. I wouldn't want to see him go abroad, although, we've seen young English players go abroad and it's worked wonders for their career. But as a neutral, I would like to see him stay in the Premier League, and I think Fulham could be a good move for him. So in terms of incomings, the Telegraph reporting that Arsenal are preparing an offer to sign Mikel Merino. This is one that's been kind of in the wood where it's been rumoured for the past week or two. Ever since Mikel Merino scored that last-minute goal for Spain to knock Germany out of the Euros. Obviously, a brilliant signing, was previously at Newcastle. You would be forgiven if you forgot that. He wasn't great in Newcastle, sold for around 12 million. But since he's went to Real Sociedad, it's become a revelation, really important to them, and a pivotal and frequent fixture in the Spanish national team. And he's repaid that in this tournament. He's looked good, often coming off the bench, but capable of playing as an advanced midfielder, a deep line midfielder, and just an out-and-out box-to-box. He's very versatile. 28 years old, though, so I struggle to see how much they will pay for Merino. But again, we'll see. There's no real details on the offer as such, but I'm sure in the next few days we can break that down a bit more and dig a bit deeper on that offer for Mikel Merino. So that's all the big clubs kind of out the way. We move on to Newcastle, who are obviously trying to make strides into that big six and the top four push, obviously to qualify for the Champions League last season. They are eyeing a £25 million move for Wilfred Gnonto, the Leeds United winger, only 20 years old. It's mental, I think, how young he is, because it feels like years ago that he was scoring at Old Trafford for Leeds when they were in the Premier League. But yeah, still only 20 years old. £25 million move. Everton are also interested. This deal kind of goes hand in hand as Newcastle look to offload Miguel Almiron. He is reportedly going to one of the Saudi Pro League teams for around 30 million. So that's kind of not always going to be an upgrade and replacement from Almiron. I mean, I won't get into all the details of that, but 30 million for Miguel Almiron going to the Saudi League. Make that what you will, but it's important to note, it's not just Newcastle that these overpriced players are getting sold to the Saudi Pro League. You look at Aston Villa about to potentially get around 70 million for Moussa Diaby from the Saudi Pro League. So, it's not just Newcastle. I know people are keen to jump onto that sort of narrative that Newcastle, there's some dodgy business going on here. But, I do think they are kind of lucky. I think if they were to try and sell Almiron to another Premier League club, I think you're looking at 10, 15 million. I think they'd struggle to even make the money back on Almiron, but that's just the way the game is at the minute. That's what the shape that the market is in. But yeah, Everton also interested in Gnonto. Definitely want to keep an eye on. He is expected to make a move this summer. I'll be very surprised if Gnonto is still at Leeds United for the start of next season. Obviously, Somerville's also been linked with a move away, but that one's kind of went quiet. Chelsea and Liverpool were linked with him earlier in the window, but that has gone quiet. Nothing to say that couldn't be revived later on in the window, but I can only say what I'm seeing, and there's not a lot of reports around Somerville at the minute. It's now the attention seems to be switched on to Gnonto. And sticking with Newcastle, but this is the news that I was talking about that might interest a lot of you people, not just Newcastle fans. The Guardian is claiming that Eddie Howe would be one of the leading candidates to replace Gareth Southgate should he resign as England manager. Obviously, after England's defeat on Sunday, Southgate's future in the England dugout has become under scrutiny, whether he'll resign or not. He seems to have got a lot more support from the England supporters since getting the back-to-back European finals, but the ball is in his court. And I'll quickly run through perhaps some of the favoured people that managers to replace Gareth Southgate. You know, obviously this report from the Guardian says Eddie Howe will be up there. I'm pretty sure Eddie Howe is third favourite. I think leading the line is Graham Potter is the favourite. I think he's around evens to be the next England manager, which would make sense. I don't know how people would think about that. You've also got Mauricio Pochettino higher up on in terms of the odds to be the next England manager. You've got Lee Carsley, Jurgen Klopp is in and around there, but that's a pipe dream. So it'll be interesting. The interesting thing for me is, would Eddie Howe leave Newcastle the way Newcastle are going at the minute with this whole Saudi project, Saudi takeover? I struggle to see it, especially for the burden that the England role has. You know, the expectation of the bar is so high, as we've seen with Gareth Southgate, you know, back-to-back European finals, and there's still some people calling for his head. So would Eddie Howe leave Newcastle to go and put his career and reputation at risk with England? It remains to be seen. Obviously, we won't know until Southgate makes that decision, but I suspect in the next couple of days we will have a decision made by Southgate on his future. And just to round off today's Transfer Daily show, we've got Southampton, one of the new boys. They have agreed an £18 million deal for Flynn Downs from West Ham. Obviously had a successful loan spell at Southampton last season in the Championship, was one of the standout midfielders in the Championship. Obviously, it's a whole different step up in the Premier League. You know, one part of me says 18 million for a player that didn't get a sniff of Premier League football when he was at West Ham. But the other half of me says Elliot Anderson, 35 million. Flynn Downs, 18 million. I think it's a pretty good deal. Obviously, you can tell it was a step above in the Championship, but as I say, he did not get a sniff at West Ham. He wasn't getting any, game time. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with a step up. But I would like to think the Southampton are pinning their whole midfield hopes on Flynn Downs. Hopefully he's just one component of that midfield under Russell Martin, and he's not the main man, because I think they can do better. I think they'll need better in the Premier League if they want to stay up next season. So that's all your transfer news in the past 24 hours, and managerial news as well. Just chucking that in there as well. Obviously, you can keep an eye out for EPL Index Transfer Daily every single morning. Whether it's me or Dave Davis, you can keep an eye out for that. All your transfer articles, as soon as they break, you'll find them on EPLindex.com, along with some opinion pieces and podcasts as well. So keep an eye out for that, and I will catch you guys in the next EPL Index Transfer Daily show.